Hi there and welcome to Celeb Hut. It seems as though they are bringing down individuals in his internal circle individually on the grounds that now another of his colleagues and teammates has uncovered the fantasy for some Diddy-level tricks. And as of now, Jay-Z ought to recognize the inevitable since it appears as though he's on the run. Rumors from far and wide suggest that Jay-Z purportedly subsidized the fantasy plan to hurt ladies. And since the chickens have come to perch, he is making tracks since he realizes that the federal authorities are coming for him. Next, you all better come on in the room and grab a chair since we have some new AB. Why about Jay-Z and the fantasy? Because it's not looking really great for both of them. Carter is similarly essentially as terrible as the Delaire. And I know that for a fact. I got the scar verification. Now you all remember when Beyonce said I couldn't care less, assuming that we were on the run for however long I'm close to you. Well, that age is like harsh milk on the grounds that Beyonce isn't attempting to stay close by for the show because there's a lot of room for the rapper and vocalist. The fantasy was named in Acclaim. Better believe it. Both Sovereign Honeybee and her husband Jay-Z are messed up in this entire web a wreck, making it the second time in a couple of months that someone in their team has been up to speed in some serious difficulty. Currently, word on the roads is that the federal authorities are surrounding Jay-Z by focusing on his inner circle, and purportedly, Beyonce is feeling all that heat. Several months prior, it was reputed that she was apparently gathering up her sacks and taking action since she could see the composition on the wall. No fates, kid, and it was not looking pretty. If Jay-Z truly is next to you all, it will be a wild ride since he's likewise been blamed for some obscure stuff. Each time we believe that Hollywood has wound up in a very difficult situation, some way or another finds a new low we didn't know existed. Feline Williams nailed it when she said that 2024 is the extended period of retribution, and everything began with Diddy, and presently it resembles a Hollywood harrowing tale is working out that progressively, more men in the business are being uncovered for their frightening and forceful way of behaving towards ladies. Presently, the most recent disclosure came from the rapper and vocalist. The fantasy being exposed for comparable offense, Shahnaz Mongru, a previous craftsman under the fantasy, recorded the claim and didn't keep down to make things much more extreme. She got similar legal advisors who addressed Cassie about her situation with Diddy. You understand what that implies. Things are going to get genuinely heated in light of the fact that these attorneys try not to play, and you know they are going to come for that cash. Yet what in heaven's name is happening in Hollywood? There are, by all accounts, a few firmly established issues. In 2014, Shahnaz left the Netherlands and moved to the US with fantasies about turning into a star. She was excited about delegates of the fantasy reaching out to her through virtual entertainment and communicating an interest in working with her. Accepting her enormous break was not far off, and she migrated to Atlanta, prepared to leave for a thrilling new section of her life. However, sadly, her circumstances didn't precisely pan out like that, and concurring to the court reports, all the while assuming a pretense of seeking after a genuine recording and distributing contract with Miss Mang Grodream, tricked a youthful and weak craftsman into a harmful, fierce, and manipulative relationship loaded up with actual attacks, brutal exposition, and terrible mental control. The regulations asserted that the fantasy made excellent commitments discussing how he was going to change Chen's into a star on a similar level as life partner, and Rihanna giving his set of experiences of composing for the two hotshots anyway, as opposed to satisfying these commitments, it's seeming as though it ended up being another Cassie and Diddy circumstance, and as opposed to aiding Shanann accomplish fame, he supposedly took advantage of her for his own self-centered purposes. You all much more. Dreadful, he vowed to have her open for Beyonce's visit, constraining her to eat less and practice unnecessarily to get ready for the visit, which he never anticipated her to do. In any case, the claims proceeded to guarantee that rather than assisting her with her vocation dream involved Miss Mango. For his bass wants, which appeared in brutal, cozy demonstrations, and horrible mental torment. For instance, dream-locked Miss Manger in a dull room contiguous, a recording studio, brutally having closeness with her, then letting her be stripped down in obscurity for a really long time, getting back to again, have closeness with her and request that she let him know she cherished him. You all, this is truly dim. The Louis proceeded to list a few examples of the fantasy abusing Chen Z, posting a few terrible episodes. Dream was constrained and developed to drink unnecessary beverages by generally pulling her head back by her hair and pouring liquor down her throat. Dream habitually choked Miss Mangru during forceful sex once in a while with his hands, and when utilizing the neckline of her dress on numerous occasions, Dream gagged Miss Mangru so strongly that she nearly blacked out you all. However horrible this seems to be and grievous, it's not exactly that stunning considering the fantasy set of experiences of brutality towards ladies back in 2014, when his ex was pregnant with their kid. He was captured for putting hands on her and attempting to choke her now. 10 years after the fact, he's confronting comparable allegations, and it's disheartening to see that nothing has changed. The claim additionally affirms that the fantasy would covertly record Chen's during constrained closeness without her assent, utilizing these recordings to coerce her into keeping straight and keeping her mouth shut and taking steps to destroy her profession if she didn't submit to this strategy. Which most certainly reflects how Diddy was purportedly treating Cassie, and it's sad. Shaz additionally guaranteed that he utilized this expert connection with Beyonce to control her and keep her in line. The report said he consistently involved Miss Mro's profound respect for Beyonce as a method for controlling Miss Mangru, telling her that the main explanation he accomplished such perfect accomplishment with Beyonce is on the grounds that they made a safe haven together, which permitted him to know Beyonce such that others couldn't, and thus he could compose the best melodies for her. He likewise told her that if she had any desire to arrive at a similar degree of progress as the need might have risen to become as near or nearer to him than Beyonce, he said that implied that Miss Mjr ought to ask and heed his guidance on everything, depending on him to be her principal comrade and cut off her internal circle to just those individuals he supported, and believed this was plainly obsessive ploy for him to distance her from anyone who might have seen through this BS and aided her departure. His control, the claim likewise said, Dream persuaded Miss Mro to think through control and compulsion had assuming she permitted him to totally control each part of her life, they could make a definitive safe haven that would outperform anything he achieved with Beyonce or Rana. When she asked him what he implied by asylum, since it doesn't appear to be legit, he would agree that stuff like, I'll tell you, after we win 10 Grammys together right now, you simply must be free and allow me to disrobe you genuinely so I can understand what's under your heart. He was additionally supposedly so controlling that he would message her stuff like, you have a place with me presently. I'm your mother and your dad and everything, and this is where things took a much more dreadful turn. Recall how Cassie referenced in her claim that Diddy had empowering agents who supposedly worked with his hurtful conduct towards her and chose to disregard. Well, as per Shanaz, the equivalent goes for the fantasy. She guarantees that his abuse of her was empowered by his record name, Contra Paris, and surmise who's the co-proprietor of Contra Paris. In all honesty, Jay-Z himself, Shaz's claim said his debased way of behaving was worked on by his record label, Contra Paris LLC, as well as by Legendary Records. The name Dream persuaded me to put resources into Miss, notwithstanding the way that he never planned to genuinely uphold her profession direction, yet rather believed corporate subsidizing should aid his individual moving endeavor. The after effect of Dream's acts was that Miss Mangjia's profession was annexed. Her vocation was taken from her with practically no clarification. Contra Paris never gave her any remuneration, and each endeavor to resuscitate her profession has been commandeered by Dream and the individuals who support him. So in addition to the fact that the name purportedly empowered the fantasy to abuse her, however, they likewise stripped her of her music and blocked her way to progress in the business, which is extraordinarily horrible. As of now, we truly need to discuss Jay-Z and why such countless individuals encompassing him and in his inward circle area being uncovered for these sorts of unpardonable activities. It sort of makes you think he must know and most certainly compliant in these ways of behaving on the grounds that accepting that he is hard encircled by this large number of terrible individuals and remains totally blameless. Similar people are attracted to one another, and it beginning to seem okay why Panther Wright guaranteed that last year Jay-Z is surprisingly more dreadful than Diddy, and taking into account Diddy's history, that is most certainly saying a ton. Scene Carter is more regrettable. Oh, gracious man, he's more intelligent. He's patient. He's not messy. This arranging individuals he calls companions and venturing to the side why they get hit by the guillotine for a very long time. Yet you all here's the succulent goody. As per blogger Storm Mro, Beyonce has purportedly been equipping to leave. What I've caught wind of as a team is that they've been carrying on with discreet lives for an extremely. Subscribe Celeb Hut for more videos.